Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you back, and I apologize for not having more videos. I did have a loss in the family, and so I was kind of dealing and coping with that. But I'm back now, and I'm ready to kind of take care of all these videos that I've been working towards. So yeah, let's get into it with today's long overdue video, my graduate school experience. So here's a little background on me, where I was at, and then we'll get into it. For those of you who don't know, I got my undergraduate from Purdue, boiler up, in material science engineering. I then went into the corporate world, working for an automotive company, starting as a certification engineer, and I'm now a service parts engineer. So that's just a little bit of background on me and all that. We can talk more about that a different day. So the first question is, how did I even pick my field? What was kind of the pivotal moment? Like, yes, I need to go to grad school. My company offers tuition reimbursement, and they also have a technical education program where they pay for 5 degrees of their choice, completely outright. You only have to cover the books and any software, and so my mother said I would be absolutely stupid to not take advantage of that. Maybe not those exact words, but something along those lines, right? So I figured, why not go ahead and get a graduate degree? Originally, I wanted to do my MBA. I, at the time, was in the beginning of my blogging, thinking I wanted to kind of get into marketing and business, and so I figured that would be the smartest choice. Unfortunately for me, the MBA program that was offered through my program was an accelerated one that required you to have a master's in something else, which your girl did not have. So I had to reevaluate. And what I decided was which one of these degrees would be the most transferable. Hence, lean manufacturing, which, in case you guys didn't know, that's what I got my master's in, lean manufacturing from Kettering University. And that is how that happened. There really wasn't this big, oh, I need this to get here. It really just, which a lot of my life up until this point was kind of like, oh, okay, they said I should do this, so I'm going to go do this. And that is kind of how I ended up in the field that I chose with the degree that I have, because it just seemed like the thing to do. So if you're looking for some big inspirational speech, and this ain't it. Which answers the next question, how did I pay for graduate school? Thankfully, because my job offered this program, I didn't have to pay for anything but my books, and I maybe spent over a total of 3 years, $400 on books, because a lot of classes didn't require books, or the books that they had you could find online or like on Kindle for super cheap. So yeah, the next question I get a lot is, okay, what was it like being Black in grad school, especially like, you're in Flint, you're at Kettering. My degree was 100% online. So for those of you who are really worried about having those experiences, trying to find online courses for a graduate degree can actually be a lifesaver, especially if it's something you really want to do, but maybe not in a location you physically would like to be. I found that to be super, super helpful. I didn't have to worry about going to a school that was predominantly white for like the 5th time in my whole life. I mean, all the schools I've gone to are predominantly white. So I didn't have to worry about doing that again, because it was online, so I got to kind of take it at my own pace, which was beautiful. A lot of people were wondering, how did I balance stuff? Doing it online made it so much easier. I mean, the typical cadence of courses would be like discussion post Tuesday, respond to 3 to 4 people's discussion post by Friday, and some kind of paper homework assignment due Sunday. So it wasn't like, undergrad where there was a lot more homework, and then they weren't really worrying about whether or not you talked in class. It was definitely more in-depth homework, though. I will say that. Definitely a lot more papers, a lot more projects, and long-form questions versus like, 1 + 1 is 2. But having that was really, really, really nice, because I have just always been one of those annoyingly organized people. Like, I was never one of those kids that actually brought homework home, so I didn't understand why they called it homework. I did it in someone else's class or in study hall because I was not carrying those heavy-ass books home to do homework. It was not happening. So For me, I really thrived having this online environment because I could work ahead if I knew I had a lot of actual workload to deal with or a lot of blog stuff I was trying to get done, or I could take my time and go right all the way up to the deadline if I knew that maybe those things needed more priority than my schoolwork. So it really gave me a lot more flexibility, which was amazing. Some things that were a little bit different with online though is obviously like you can't just go to the help room, but your professor is available, I mean, more or less 24/7. You send them an email and they're responding so quick. And there was a lot less exams, which was awesome because I just hated having to find, somebody who was qualified to watch the test and have to time it out. There was a lot more projects, so you had a lot more control, and it really gave you a way to relate what you were learning to your job, because the idea was to choose projects that were directly to do with the job you're currently doing. So that was a really cool way to kind of see how your degree applied to what you were doing. So that was really, really cool. I hated the discussion posts. I hated having to respond with an essay and then find 4 people and respond to their essay with another essay. That just was so ridiculously time consuming and frustrating. So if you don't like that, then maybe in class might be a little better. But again, you'll know, especially if you've already done undergrad, you kind of know what style works for you and what doesn't. So just keep that in mind in terms of weighing your options online versus in person. The next really big question I get asked is, okay, you have your master's degree, so how did that impact your career? How did it improve your career? When it improves my career, I'll let you know. And I hate to say that, but honestly, there wasn't this whole, oh my God, you have your master's, here's this promotion or this new job opportunity you should try, here's this raise. There was none of that. And the only way there will be that is if you and your boss have that conversation before you go to grad school, during your time at grad school, and as you're approaching your graduation. You and your boss have to be on the same page, hey, I'm doing this to be better at my job and to better the company, and so I expect these kind of opportunities, and to be looking at these kind of opportunities when that time ends. The other real reason that for me it wasn't a huge impact is, unfortunately, I now kind of know what I want to do, and this ain't it. What I do now is not it. Lean manufacturing isn't it. I'd really like to get into textile engineering. And so I basically just spent 3 years on a degree that it isn't useless, guys. I'm not going to say that. I learned some really, really great things that I can apply to my job now and things that I will definitely carry with me through my career, but it just is not helpful considering I've been in the real world for 5 years and don't have the direct experience in something that I want to be doing. So that kind of has set me back in that way. Which is kind of a good segue into thoughts on college, grad school in general. What side of the fence am I on? And it's hard. I will say learn. Having an education is so important. But I will say it doesn't always have to come from college. There are so many times where I have been beat out for jobs because someone has had the experience over me versus the degree. And of course, a lot of these companies ideally want both, but whatever dream world they're living in. But I would say that you need to use college for sure as a resource. If you know what you want to do and you feel like you don't have that educational base to get there, that is what college, especially grad school, should be for you. Now that I know what I want to do, I am for sure thinking about going back to graduate school again to get a textile chemistry degree. But first and foremost, don't get yourself further in debt. If there wasn't this technical education program, if my job didn't reimburse me, I probably wouldn't be looking at graduate school unless I knew I for sure could get some scholarships lined up. And that's where I'm at now is, yes, I want to go back to graduate school, but I'm not trying to go back into debt. And I'm trying to figure out the best way financially to kind of make that happen, because I love being financially free. And that's the other really hard choice that you have to make, is how important is your education to you versus, your financial situation. And if you're going to work for yourself, honestly, are you not going to hire you because you don't have a degree? So you're better off going and taking courses, specifically in what you feel like you're liking, especially if you're trying to start your own business, maybe a finance course or a marketing course, if that just isn't your strong suit, you know, or if you're good at the business side, but you don't have the creative side, right? Like going to take some creative classes to really get your juices flowing and all that kind of stuff. So I think college is amazing. I mean, going for undergraduate, that's a totally different video that I will totally do for you guys, was such a transformative experience for me. Graduate school, not as transformative, but definitely a lot of great learned lessons, a lot of things applicable for my career, for any career, which is, again, part of the reason I chose the degree that I did, because every company is trying to do more with less, and lean manufacturing is just that. How can we make this process more efficient? What can we do to continually improve this process? And that's something that I'm going to need forever, especially doing what I plan to do. So I'm not going to say it was a waste of time, but now that I know what I'd like to do, it's just kind of like, dang it, now I feel like I have to make up all this time that I just spent doing this other stuff, which is a little frustrating, but it's part of the journey, right? Like, I didn't know, and no one, you know what I mean? No one was going to tell me, and until you're exposed to stuff, you don't know. So the other thing, obviously, is not just using college as a way to supplement your education, but it's also if you can't get direct hands-on experience at the time. And that for me, like I said, is one of the reasons I'm considering going back, is because I don't think at this time I'm going to be able to get that kind of knowledge base through my company. And so this is another way to kind of get that knowledge. But if you can get that experience, honestly, especially if you're planning to work for corporate America, get the experience. Like, the experience, hands down, has always seemed to trump a college degree time and time again. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them below. If you have any feedback or advice for people currently in graduate school, balancing, all that kind of stuff, definitely leave it below. Obviously, again, as you guys know, this is a forum, and I want us to share, and I want us all to make it and succeed. And yeah, that's it. I will see you guys next week with yet another video, my denim collection, because that has been highly requested. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.